A real good game for us tonight. Oswald pitched terrific. We're very proud of him, how consistent that he's been. And now watching him now for 5 months since way back in March. As soon as I met him, I saw that he had good control, could throw all his pitches for strikes and change speeds. But his changeup and his breaking ball have really improved over the past 5 months. And he could have gone more tonight. It was a cautionary thing on our part. You know, that Manji, that rocket line drive, luckily it got the meat of his inner thigh. But as it got cooler during the night, in between innings, he was fine, but Dave and I were both cautious of, you know, it's going to get sore, it's going to tighten up, and we didn't want him to do anything to alter his delivery. So the 6 innings was fine, and Wick was his typical self. I mean, he did a good job, although it did get a little nervous there in the 8th. But I thought Nito really did a good job on that 3-2 pitch in the dirt on his recovery, and Wick was, you know, aptly covered the plate, and we got a big out, because otherwise it's a run, and then they got second and third, and we have to face another hitter. So, you know, solid pitching, and you know, this youngster Urania, just he's had 2 13-game hitting streaks, and now this one's at 10. So he might have the 3 longest streaks in the league this year, and he's only 19. And certainly his 2-run homer tonight kind of put a cap on the game. You know, I mean, with our pitching to get to take it from 3-1 to 5-1, really, you know, we felt real good with that. And it was good to see. Conforto had his first little mini slump on the road, but he had 2 real good at bats late in the game tonight against a left-hander. The 2 base hits to right field, and Tomas Nido. You know, in the first inning, I think their youngster just joined the team, and it might have been a little bit nervous because his control was spotty there in the first inning. I mean, a hit batter and 2 walks. We needed to capitalize, and with 2 strikes, that was a big base hit that Nito got for us. I didn't like the base running blunder that took us out of what might have been a big inning, but nevertheless, the 2-run single got us on the board. So all in all, just good for us, and the worst we can be going on the road is tied with Connecticut. I don't know how they're doing tonight, but like I told the guys, if we just win our games, we don't have to worry about what somebody else does. You know, we're in control of our own destiny, and you know, we'll go to Vermont and see if we can't. We've been winning a lot of series. You know, I think we're like 6 of 7 or 7 out of 8, taking 2 of 3. So we're doing okay. You know?
I do like the at bats today from your players. They seem to be a little bit more patient, working walks and. How do you like that as a manager?
Yeah, that's, you know, Benny and Fonzie have both preached that. Some days we're free swinging and chasing bad pitches, but you're right. I don't know what the total our total walk total tonight was. We had 5 base on balls and a hit batter, which is good for us, and only 5 strikeouts. So I love that. As we all know, we've had too many high strikeout games. But yeah, when the guys are patient, then they get better pitches to hit, and you know, so just all in all, it's a good one to win, because this, you know, last night was a long doubleheader, and then, you know, now we've got a long 6-hour bus ride to Vermont.
What time are you leaving?
We're leaving in an hour,
oh,
and
okay.
For 3 games, and then a much needed 2 days off of the All-Star break, and then we'll do what we can those last 13 to see if we can't get in the playoffs for these Brooklyn fans.
Yeah. Only a 2-game break for some. I mean, you're going to be managing the
right, in the All-Star game.
The South, right?
Yeah, and we got 6 players in it, so
yeah.
we're well represented and well deserved on the guys that were chosen. They certainly got the right ones, and you know, we'll get Monday off and half of Tuesday, and the fact that the game's at home is really beneficial. I'm glad we're not traveling somewhere else for it.
In advent of the All-Star game and with the 6 players that were chosen, would you give me like a little summary on each of them with the upcoming game?
Yeah, well, the good news for the Brooklyn fans is that the game falls right in the middle of our 6-man rotation, where both of our starters, Oswald tonight and Molina, who's going to pitch tomorrow, they will both get to pitch an inning in the game. And Shane Bay, of course, will. I mean, I hope he closes it out for us, but he'll definitely pitch. And our 3 players, Urania was Rosario was the only one that was picked as a starter. so he'll play the first half of the game. But you know, I think Ozzy's what, 5-1, 6-1. I mean, Weld is just, he's had very consistent. Molina's stats have dominated the whole league. So it goes without saying, those guys are well deserved. And Shane Bay is second in the league in saves and a perfect 12 for 12. So, and then when you look at our two teenagers, Rosario and Urania, they both hit right at or near 300 virtually the whole season. They've been very consistent. And Rosario's going to start at shortstop, play the first half of the game. Urania will play the second half of the game at third, as will Bernal in the outfield, play the second half. And you know, Michael's average is nowhere near where he'd like it to be, but he has stole 10 bags. He's hit 5 home runs and he's driven in 31 runs. So, and I think he's leading the league in assists for outfielders with the bazooka arm that he's got. So, like I say, we're well represented. They're well deserved, and I hear that the game is already, I think they'd sold 6,500 seats with still 4 days or 5 days before it. So it'll be good for the fans to come out and see the best players in the league and the Brooklyn players that they've been following all year long.
Have they chosen a starting pitcher? I would imagine Molina.
Well, I guess I dictate that. You know, they gave me 5 starters and 5 relievers, and I think we can fairly well dictate that Molina will start that thing. I mean, it's certainly well deserved on his part.
Okay.
Talk about interacting with the Hodges family. How special was that for you?
Well, that was great. I told Mrs. Hodges how proud I was personally to meet her, because I grew up in Los Angeles, and in 1958 I was 10 when the Dodgers left Brooklyn and came to LA, so I immediately became a diehard Dodger fan and a big Gil Hodges fan. And I mean, he was such a class guy. Even at 10, when I would hear him with Vin Scully, he was very articulate, very intelligent, very well respected. I know Walter Alston considered him to be like the leader on the field and like the captain of the team. And then of course later in his post-career to have managed the Mets, I assumed that he was from here, but I guess Brooklyn and New York just kind of adopted him because of the Brooklyn Dodger connection, and then having managed the Mets. And so it was an honor and privilege to meet their son and Mrs. Hodges tonight and present her with some flowers on behalf of our Brooklyn Cyclone baseball team.